This is going to do two phases. We're going to talk about the herb for today, this month, Skullcap, and Vanessa, I already told you, but we finished up that last book, Healing Rituals. We're going to be working with a new 10-month journey book. So instead of having the book choose the plant, the herb, I just put my finger on the pulse of what we're doing right now and what the energies are, and I chose Skullcap. Skullcap is it's a member of the mint family. It's cooling and it's drying. I love the taste of it. It's kind of like mint, but it's kind of like sweet and earthy. And skullcap is a nervine, and so it is so perfect and potent for these times because it literally, one herbalist described it. It's like when you're outside and you're cold and you put a little warm fuzzy hat on your head. Like that is how soothing skullcap can be. But it's not just soothing. It somehow actually also manages to be like kind of grounding and maybe even a little bit like releasing, not uplifting, but there's this like energy that is that it delivers. Kiva Hardin, I love her work. She talked about it's indicated when there's stuck life energy that's resulting from a constant state of stress and adrenaline rushes. And I think about the times that we live in, and even if we ourselves aren't personally in a constant state of stress or adrenaline rush, we can feel that the collective might be. So as healers or people who are interacting with our hearts open, this is a really cool herb to be working with. It's also indicated, according to David Winston, when when we need to release control. He talks about flying off the handle, but I think about the energetic of like releasing control and having that be helping us be calm. A little bit of history. Some of the native tribes have used it. Sedative to relax nervous tension. It also was used to ease. This is not documented. I put the citation. That's not a scientific study. It's just this is how the Cherokee used this to ease breast pain and for stubborn respiratory conditions. There's not a lot of science around that, but just I find it interesting that tribes were using it because it is also just a general like um, way to relax and uplift. The Delaware used it as a digestive stimulant and as a laxative. Here's the ways that modern science talks about this particular herb. Nervine, which is what I've already mentioned, calms the nerves. Anxiolytic, I hope I said that right, reduces anxiety. Antispasmodic, that's involuntary muscle spasms, digestive, hypotensive, and analgesic. So there's a lot of things where we look at this up top, like that makes sense why they had a variety of uses for this stuff. So it's also, and this is where I get excited about it. It's a nerve tropho-restorative. And so that means that it restores balance of the nervous system, and it's by nourishing and rebuilding the nerves. So it's a nervine, but it's also uplifting and nourishing. And so I feel like when there's that constant stress of going through living in a world that's in the midst of being transformed, this plant just spoke to me. And I shared this quote in the email with you guys, but perhaps the most relevant nervine available to us in the Western materia medica is skullcap because it soothes nervous tension while renewing and revivifying the central nervous system. And one final quote here: nervous system restorative for the effects of long-standing and unproductive stress, whether from disease or lifestyle. So it's got a pretty broad thing that it does. And then Kiva Rose Harden again, she calls it blisswort. And so wort to me, I think about motherwort. Motherwort is a soothing but third eye opening. Blisswort kind of opens up the flow of energy, helps us release the stress. Like I said, to me, stress release, relax, ground down, and keep the heart open. I don't know if we need to go through all this stuff. But well, actually, here's some. These are some scientific studies that is worth for us to consider. Um, it's been found to help with tension headaches, uh, tremors, and restless leg syndrome. So again, this kind of like central nervous system relaxant. Also helps with insomnia, any kind of nervous system deficiency associated with chronic depression. So again, this is this kind of energy that's like, if it's not going away, skullcap is kind of like putting a nice warm fuzzy hat on our mental body, right? On our mental energetic body. Um, Skullcap was also found to have antioxidant effects. So antioxidants, as we know, are good for various kinds of oxidative stress associated with, they found it for neurodegenerative and neuropsychiatric diseases here. So that's Alzheimer's, depression, Parkinson's. So again, that's where we think about it's not just a nervine, it's a nerve tropho-restorative. So there's a tea that I would suggest if you would like to start blending, if you happen to have some of this stuff around, you've been with me long enough. Skullcap, chamomile, and lemon balm is one of my favorite things. I like all of those separately, but lemon balm has got that uplifting and relaxing, a little bit more like a summertime feel, but we can all use a little bit of sunshine in our lives. And chamomile is just so good at soothing, and skullcap. So a little bit of research. This is just 43 participants were fed the aerial parts of the skull cap. So that's the leaves and the stems and the flowers. And the results showed that that skull cap significantly enhanced global mood without a reduction in energy or cognition. So if we think about what a nervine can sometimes do, if it can also be used to put you to sleep and get you a little drowsy, right? But this is a very special one because it's grounding and it's uplifting. Okay, so with that, I'm gonna say pause the recording here for a second or stop the recording.